like an alarm. What was that about? When did I say that?
John loaded up some new soundy bites. Are these all safe to play on the Not Po show?
Oh yeah, the two new ones are for sure.
Titillated.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
That's good.
me.
Titillated.
Guys, welcome back to What the Podcast.
Feels good to be back.
Always a pleasure to be here at All Right Entertainment Studios.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's just get right into it.
Right into it.
Let's
We didn't-
introduce
we didn't
ourselves.
Talk about it at all. But it's go.
I know, that's fine. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
Together we are.
Ryan and John.
Hey, buddy, good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
On the couch, as always, Kara Tafoya.
Wee woo.
Okay. And joining us this week, behind her desk, apparently. Apparently, she double booked herself. Annie Descove-Scoveman.
I wish I could see the angle. I gotta know how far the laptop goes out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's pretty jarring. It's jarring. I don't think she's even in it. Annie, what are you cooking up over there?
I just have one last email to send before I'm multitasking. I can do multiple things. I can do hard things.
Okay, that's fine.
can
That's fine.
technically,
You
but
you
you
wrap
shouldn't.
that up. I'm gonna jump right into it. John,
Yep.
how much would you pay for coffee?
Oh gosh.
Okay,
For a-
this is a
like
loaded
an ice-
question because not like how much have you paid because
Yeah,
that number
yeah.
is probably insane.
Like an iced latte kind of thing.
Just any given cup of coffee, what would you pay?
I think I would pay upwards of $4.
$4.
I feel like you need to be specific about this cup of coffee. Is it
No,
black?
no, I know.
Yeah,
where
it's
he's going
a
with
black
this.
cup coffee.
I'm gonna tell you that this is breaking news. A local San Diego man went to Hawaii and purchased a $70 bag of coffee.
That was you.
That
It was
man
me.
is you.
That man was you.
Oh my
See,
god.
you didn't specify.
Yeah, bag of coffee.
You were saying
Bag of
how much
coffee.
would you pay for a cup of coffee?
Okay, so
For a bag of coffee.
How many? So it's a 1 pound bag of coffee.
Oh yeah, see that changes it.
100% Kona beans. That's the good stuff over there.
Wait, how much coffee does one
that
pound
now
of coffee make?
I was about to ask the same question. Let's Google it.
It depends on how.
Wait, you
Here's
come
why
in
I'm
with
a
this
bad-
thing
How
locked
strong you
and
want your
loaded, and you
coffee.
never even looked
Didn't even
into
think
it?
about it. Didn't even think about it. How many
Here's my
cups
thing is I'm a
of
bad judge of this
coffee
because
from
I've said this before.
pound?
I don't know like food or drink quality very well. If it tastes like it's supposed to taste, it's a-okay in my book.
It depends on how strong you want it. Is how many beans you
True,
use.
true.
So
1 pound is made up of 32 tablespoons, so you could get about 16 cups of coffee from a pound of coffee beans.
That makes sense, right?
I feel like
Okay,
maybe
so
it's more.
70 divided by 16.
Ooh, buddy, that's not price per
tablespoons?
cup is not looking good on that one.
I'll do that math for you
That-
right
that
now.
doesn't make
with
any
my
sense
handy
to me.
dandy laptop that happens to be open.
Because you can get a bunch of pots of coffee, and that's way more than 16 cups.
Yeah, but I think
I
if
would
you're
say a
making
pot of
like
coffee makes about about four cups.
Oh, it keeps going. It keeps going.
Oh, here we go.
On average, you can make about 30 cups of coffee.
Okay,
From 1 pound of
now
coffee.
we're talking.
Now you're looking at $2.30
For a
Not
cup
bad.
of coffee. That's not bad. Just straight up,
And then you
no
add
milk
the
or
fact
anything.
that it's like the 100% Kona beans.
It's the good stuff.
That's pretty good.
Today, this is probably about 2.5 cups right here, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
drinking.
crazy. I'm trying to actually decline my amount of caffeine and coffee every day.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I drink a lot of caffeine, and I don't know that it's good for my anxiety.
So, what's your bev of the week then?
So what I've been doing is I've just been trying to
Red
drink
Bull.
1 cup of coffee a day, like just one.
Okay.
And then like if I'm having a day or I'm with some people and they want to go coffee, I'll get another one. But I personally, by myself, am choosing 1 cup of coffee. Now this is because I went to a meeting over coffee.
Sure.
So that's
gotta
technically
get
number
one.
2. That's technically number 2 because I'm not going to be like, if we're going to for coffee to talk, I
Yeah.
don't want to be the guy that's like, actually I don't drink coffee. Like what? That's
Well, you
weird.
could get like an iced tea,
could,
but I feel like that's
But
maybe
caffeine's the same.
I was gonna say maybe. What's the sa-
Okay, well, caffeine is
tea is
caffeine.
way,
Let's find out.
way less.
Sure.
Especially if you're getting a green tea.
caffeine versus coffee?
Yeah.
Black tea is the highest amount, and even black tea is not even equal to like a shot of
I love
espresso.
this show. It's like going over to your parents' house,
Just
like your
listening.
grandparents' house, like posing questions and then Googling the answers.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Just like what?
What was the answer to
How
this
much do you
last one?
think?
Real quick.
Coffee generally has more caffeine than iced tea, but the amount can vary depending on. Okay,
Yes.
did we talk about the AI on Google thing? Have
Oh,
you
it's
seen
crazy.
this lately?
Yeah.
It's the first thing that comes up, and I immediately skip it.
I'm pausing the caffeine situation because Google now, when you Google something, it's not sending you to links anymore. Right at the top,
It's going to tell you what you
it
need
says
to know.
AI overview. So this is giving you a general gist.
So it's read all the articles and it's summarizing the.
It's a know-it-all. It's a
Media
know-it-all.
information.
It's your buddy at a party that thinks he knows everything about what you're
just
talking
like
about.
generally skimming
We
articles.
could just call it Ryan if we're talking
I
about
don't.
it like
Okay,
that.
I do, for one, I don't
I was
read
gonna
the
say,
articles.
just
I
ask
read
me.
the titles.
I know all the answers.
Yeah.
That is
I'd
Kara.
say that is
You know
Kara.
what?
An 8-ounce cup
That's
of
true.
coffee.
It is Kara, and I love it because Kara like fully.
She's
owns
like,
it.
yeah,
She's like,
and I
yep.
do know everything.
Shit, well, that's me.
That was the biggest thing
Okay.
they taught us at Starbucks is people would always ask about caffeine and tea.
This
Oh,
is from
really?
Yeah.
an assortment of articles here. Driftaway Coffee, Class Pass, and the Washington Post. An 8-ounce cup of brewed coffee typically contains 95 to 200 milligrams of caffeine, whereas a 16-ounce serving of iced tea usually contains 40 to 50 milligrams of caffeine.
Yes.
Okay, here's
It's
it.
literally like
So that's like half.
it's half the amount and you're getting more drink
So
in tea.
Well,
So
I mean,
you could literally
but it
drink
also tastes like
you could
leaves,
drink
so.
yeah. Well,
3 cups
to
of
you.
black tea a day
What's your-
and
what's
that
your
would
flavor?
equal 1 cup of coffee.
beans or leaves? What's it going to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you.
Yeah.
I think just in general, I'm trying to step down a little bit from
From the
my
caffeine
consumption
daily
because,
intake.
because like it's so dumb because this is interesting too. Like
Yeah.
you hear things all the time about what's good for you and what's bad for you, and it's like I feel like I constantly like. Yeah, I know, like a lot of coffee is bad for you. Totally, I get it. And then here I am drinking like 4 cups a day, going like, why am I so anxious at the end of the day? And it's like,
Yeah, I get that.
well,
I also get that. If I've consumed too much coffee, if I'm at that perfect like 2.5 to 3 cups of coffee, and I can just ride that high for the rest of the evening, like,
Yeah.
whew.
I don't get that.
and there's all these alternatives now where they're like
Yerba mate.
they taste like coffee, but it's like mushroom. You heard of the mushroom coffees?
Chaga.
Yeah, like
Talking
all
about
that.
mud water.
Mud water.
Yeah,
I recently ordered Everyday Dose that comes in on Thursday that I'm excited to try.
Oh, so you're doing
And-
shrooms.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
Good for
sure, I
you.
guess. But yeah, I want to try something different. I'm so tired of it. Again, it doesn't like I won't know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it'll be the same, especially because like I just mentioned, I really can't tell you what's better and worse when it comes to like flavors and food.
Yeah.
If it tastes like it's supposed to, it's good with me. So I'm like, why am I putting this high caffeine stuff when I can just swap it for something that's lower caffeine, like maybe better for me?
The low dose.
And it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't change my experience. You know, that's kind of what I'm on, I guess. Like in
I'm
that
on the
sense.
outside of all of that because
can
caffeine
appreciate that.
doesn't affect me at all.
Really?
Really,
100%.
Really,
Yes.
it doesn't. Well, yeah, I guess.
Literally not at all.
I was
can
gonna ask
drink-
you a really
I can
personal
drink
question.
eight- What about my poop?
No. Keep going. I'll tell you later.
I can have like a
I gotta know.
the only
I gotta
cough-
know what
okay.
it was. What was the
I
question?
was gonna ask like if you had any like mental health related issues, like anxiety or
Jesus,
which is
John.
again, which is why I
Are
didn't
you
say it.
depressed?
We talk about anything and everything on this show.
Yeah, we're two friends with no
have
batteries.
you
4 friends
ever
with no
wanted
batteries.
to kill yourself?
That's
no,
not what he
I've
said.
never had
That's
when
what
I
he
do drink coffee,
implied.
which lately it has not been like at all. I'll have like I do like the occasional like cappuccino after
Yeah.
dessert kind of thing.
Sure,
I've never gotten anxious from coffee.
but you don't like stay awake at night,
No.
reliving some of the
I
most
can have a
embarrassing moments
soda
of your life.
right before
okay,
bed.
Cool. Just to make sure.
and go night night.
You get the Sunday scaries, John?
No, I mean, I've talked about this a lot on the podcast.
Yeah.
I struggle with anxiety majorly, and that's what I'm saying is like, and it's not. What's crazy is it doesn't feel different or even more ramped up than it normally does. I
See,
just think I'm
certain
like
people-
analyzing myself.
Coffee,
now.
a cup of coffee makes them anxious.
Yeah.
I'm anxious without coffee sometimes.
I don't think it's the coffee or even the caffeine. I think it's like a combination of things. It's my anxiety mixed with like I am a little ramped up, probably from the caffeine.
Sure.
But I don't know that it's the caffeine's fault.
So maybe
It's
you
just
should
like-
drink some tea.
You think you
pass.
have a disposition towards being anxious when you're ramped up?
Well, here's the thing: if I don't drink coffee, I get a headache. So I
And that-
need caffeine.
Okay.
What if you
But I
switch to
don't need-
decaf?
600 milligrams of caffeine every day.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course
But
not.
What if you switch to decaf?
You could go decaf.
There's a
guess I
person
could.
in our lives that we know who has switched to only decaf.
You're talking about my mom.
I am.
I mean, she'll talk about that. That's not like a.
But she had the same
Like,
thing.
are you struggling with mental health?
When she first started, she was like, if I don't have my coffee in the morning, I get a headache. And then after like a month of doing decaf, that was all she could have.
Yeah,
She'd
I
go
just-
back to normal coffee and then get jittery.
And this is kind of a question, I guess, for everybody. Is there something in your life that you feel like if tomorrow the infrastructure apocalypse happened, could you live without it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there something that you so heavily rely on that you're like, that's probably not good. I wish I didn't have to rely on it.
In the past, I would say no.
But now,
But I mean, I've done gallon months before, and I
Yeah.
wasn't really drinking a lot of coffee in those months.
Oh,
I was
interesting.
drinking maybe like a cup
sure.
every couple of days because I was just blasting water, and I felt great. So I'm gonna say no.
No, there's
I don't
nothing
want to
holding
live
you
without
back.
coffee. I don't want to.
Oh, you don't want to. Okay.
But there's nothing that you couldn't, if it were to fall apart, you couldn't live without it.
No.
There's nothing you have like maybe a slight addiction to.
No, that's what I'm saying. If that happens, I'll probably just kill myself.
Oh, so coffee's your thing.
okay.
Coffee is my thing.
A
Coffee is my
lot,
thing.
a lot of triggers.
Jeez.
No,
in this
love.
episode so
Maybe
far.
you should change your lifestyle.
No, I'd
The
be fine.
answer to this question
I'd be
for
fine.
everyone should be, I'd be fine without it.
Okay.
Come on.
No,
Relax.
no.
Relax.
That's
mine,
not interesting.
Mine,
Go ahead.
fans. I need air flowing.
Oh, I took it as
She's
like
singing
subscribers.
drink wise.
Oh,
no,
your
no.
thing.
He's just saying in
Are
general.
we
Is there
saying in
something-
general?
In general, yes.
Is there
So,
something
like,
I thought you
that
were
I
going
can't live
drinks.
without? No,
so
no,
something
no,
my
no.
wife reminds me of all the time is if the infrastructure of the world dissolved tomorrow, I would eventually go blind. My vision is getting worse and worse, and there would be no way to get glasses. I would eventually go blind.
Pretty-
They've probably made
Wait,
quite a
pause,
few
pause,
pairs
pause,
of glasses.
Why does she remind you of that? Like
Because
she reminds you this
I think she's
often?
prepping me.
She's a
Well, I
doomsday
think she
prepper.
wants you
If
to go
it
get a
does
new
go
prescription.
For the day.
she did say she'll protect me as much as she can, but at some point,
I've got to say, your wife's one of my favorite people.
I do love that.
She's like, listen,
Jojo
buddy,
Albright.
I love you. I do. But if you go blind,
She's prepping me.
eventually I'm putting you in a corner and I'm walking away.
yes, she's prepping me for that. She's prepping me.
She's prepping you for when she
when
leaves
she leaves you.
the-
Not
in the
not because
apocalypse-
of
in
a
the
lack of
apocalypse.
like love and romance in the relationship. It's
just like
because that
survival.
your
Survival.
eyesight's just not that good anymore.
As long as there's not an apocalypse, we're fine. If something starts to dissolve and there's no way to get
Let me
glasses,
back
go
up
ahead.
and say that if we're in an apocalypse
Yeah.
scenario,
Uh-huh.
I could live without coffee.
Okay.
What could I not live without is what you're asking?
Yes.
And Annie said fans.
I meant like a physical,
Like a
fans-
following.
No, no,
Like
no,
your
no, no.
your
Like
800
a
followers
Instagram
on
Like
follower.
a full
Instagram.
air. Like I need air
Yeah.
circulation.
Yeah.
Like
You can
I'm
just go
someone-
outside.
No, not
true.
always.
That's true.
Sometimes it's stale out there too.
You know
I
what they're
need
going to have a
air
lot of in the
flowing.
apocalypse? Outside.
True.
No,
True.
Well,
if
might
when-
be in bunkers.
Did you guys ever watch that TV show of like?
The
When, like-
unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
The
No,
Walking
no.
Dead.
It was no. It was called like when the Earth, like when people are gone, and it went by like 2 days after people have gone. The animals start to eat themselves and this and that, and then it's like 100
Whoa.
years past like civilization, and it shows like a computer like generated like what the buildings would look like. The like
I think I have
the
seen
you know
this.
the like the trees would start to have retaken over. You know
The
the
general-
asphalt would have broken down and the streets would have dissipated. And It's so
Cool.
interesting. And
The
it really
general
spiraled me as a
consensus is
kid.
like nature is gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like
True.
they don't care. Nature does not care if humans live or
It's
die.
The Last
or,
of Us.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
I think what I'm trying to get at here a little bit is that a long time ago when we started this podcast, we were really motivating each other. Like we did, we talked about doing a social media fast. Remember that whole conversation about
I haven't had TikTok in
cutting
like a
out
month.
social media for a month? And I think we should do something like that. What are we going to cut out as a group for a month?
I'm not cutting out fans because if I cut out fans, I will kill myself.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
Yeah. Oh
By
yeah.
the way,
You want me
wasn't
to
gonna
sweat
suggest
to death?
fans. I wasn't going to
This is a
suggest central
no.
AC.
This is a completely different conversation. What could I not live with that? Like, what when the apocalypse happens?
Yes.
When it goes,
You're
will
at
I also
withdrawals.
go?
Yeah.
And what you're submitting is
We
Yeah.
test the
a
limits.
completely
to that.
different thing.
Let's test it.
Let's test.
No.
What are we
man.
cutting out?
No.
Sorry, I can't cut out toilets.
Oh gosh, well,
Couldn't
I
live
wasn't
without
suggesting
toilets.
that,
Garrett, you
but-
say
No, but
that now.
but in the apocalypse,
I
when the
have
toilets
never-
go, Kara goes.
I
is
have
what she's
never-
saying.
You couldn't
Pooped
pooped in a hole.
or peed in a hole in my life.
Oh, I've
Can't relate.
done that plenty of times.
You're about to go camping soon, so
There's gonna be bathrooms at our
Poop and
campsite.
pee in a
Well,
hole. You've never.
maybe not,
Wait,
Kara, maybe
You've never
not.
like had to pee so bad on a road trip and
You've
you
never
just pull over
peed
to
in
the
the
side of the
forest?
road.
No,
you're out
never.
of your mind.
Never.
That's
You've never lived.
That's really hard to believe.
That's fine.
You
That
have
is
never
very
lived.
hard to believe. Very hard to
If
wait.
you haven't,
If I have to,
is
there
there-
better be a
Wilderness-
roll of toilet paper for
if
me.
you haven't,
I ain't
if you
drip
haven't
drying.
dropped your drawers and
Drop your drawers. That's
your
another
drawers.
clip right there.
Clipping
No.
knot, 15
if
minutes.
you haven't dropped your drawers
Nope.
Drop your
and
drawers.
peed with the sunlight hitting
No.
your face,
Okay,
you haven't
dropped your
lived.
first 15 minutes and 30 seconds.
Thank
I have
you.
to write that
No.
down.
Drop your jaws.
I have to write that down right now.
No.
I'm just
That's
saying,
not
there's
believable.
freedom.
I don't believe
No.
it.
There's freedom in peeing outside.
Nope.
You know what? And that's
Okay,
one
now
thing I'm
I
looking
have,
forward
now
to
I
in
have
the
a question for
apocalypse.
Annie. How many times have you peed
Plenty.
outside?
More times than I probably could count. Truly, we grew up going on rides in the desert. There was no
boondocks?
bathroom.
Out in the
Ooh, you're
desert,
talking
you
about,
pee
like-
on the ground, it just
You're talking about like
evaporates.
7-hour ride,
It
7
evaporates
hour
before it hits the ground.
7 hour off roading. There's no bathroom. You just go behind the bush.
Yeah,
true.
If
I get
that.
that. I get
No.
I
that.
can say I've never
Road
like
trips.
gone number 2 outdoors, but I've definitely
I yeah.
peed outdoors.
I
before.
can hold number 2 for quite a while. I'm not trying
Yeah,
to do that
yeah.
outdoors, but
Can't relate.
What's the camping situation? You guys are all going
we're going camping. Transition.
soon. Is there gonna be a traditional
Yeah.
bathroom?
Traditional bathroom.
Okay.
It'll
Classic,
be,
but
it'll
it's
be a classic stone.
it's a
probably.
classic hole in the ground
With
Yeah,
spiders
absolutely.
everywhere.
So it is a hole in the ground.
No,
John?
it's gonna be a big stone building with
Still,
toilets.
ground.
still time to come with us.
Yeah, well, I'll think about it.
All right.
And he thought about it. Not coming.
And that was it, huh? Oh.
What's our campground?
Going to Yosemite National Park.
That's not the
But-
camp.
That's gonna be so fun, you guys. I can't
Well,
wait to
Let's
see the
not
film.
tell. Let's not tell the internet where
Yeah.
we're going.
I have-
Try
I need
not
to do
embarrass-
I don't
research
want
on
my
this
I don't want my
campground.
ops to know where I'm gonna be laying my head at night.
Yeah, it's true.
I saw a girl today post something where she's like, "I moved and I'm living alone again," and I was like, "I would never."
Why would you
I
post
first
that?
of all would never announce that I'm living alone as a
Uh-huh.
female. I would pretend that I have a roommate always.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the pizza guy delivers, like, you know, obviously a meal for one. I'll be like, okay, hey, get the dishes out. We're gonna split
Yeah.
this. Thanks, dude. Like, I
You do
always
all that?
pretend.
You do
I
all
would
that?
fully go
That's
like
crazy.
I would throw my voice across the room so it sounds like someone's talking back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have a weapon by your bed?
I do.
You do. What's your weapon of choice?
It is.
Gosh.
It's a wooden board with a nail in it.
No.
It's a- No, you're not going wooden
My
board with a
dad
nail in
did
it.
it.
I'm
It's-
Dirty Dan.
No
Dirty
way.
Dan.
I'm Dirty Dan.
It
I
went-
imagine it being like it's a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
That's
something
kind of
super
cool.
graphic.
Freaking
It's,
Walking Dead.
My dad made it for
Uh-huh.
my windowsill so that like my window wouldn't open all the way, but it's been so hot that I've just let my window open. So it now rests right within arm's reach of the
Yeah.
window.
That's pretty
And
good.
He made it because it sits in the window track so that
Uh-huh.
no one can open it more, like if you're trying to break in.
Of course.
But then he added the nail with the sawed off end so that if they had a tool, if they were really trying to break in, they couldn't like have a tool reach in and just like pop up the thing.
Sure,
Because
sure.
there's like no end to like hook. But if I was trying to get it out of the windowsill, I could grab the nail. But then
course.
I've now decided that's my weapon of choice.
Oh,
it
so this
wasn't
isn't
meant to be a weapon.
It wasn't meant to be, but now it's. I mean,
But
you work
now
with
it's
what
a-
you got.
It's
I think
a
it was always
stick
meant
with
to
a
be
nail
weapon,
in it.
If we're being honest,
John,
it's always meant.
You got a
We'll
bedside
let
weapon,
Jim
John?
do this.
My bedside weapon is a 4-year-old rescue dog named Arthur. That guy will
Hell
freak
yeah.
out on
That's pretty
any
good.
noise. That guy's going full beast mode. Our neighbor was playing music the other night, and he just turned it on, and we were all kind of in bed, just ready to go to bed, and he like ran down the stairs and was freaking out. It was scary. I was like, dude, I love that.
That's
I
pretty
love
good.
That.
That's
what about
pretty
you? You
good.
got protective cats?
My cats would be like, "They're here. They're over here. They're sleeping.
They'd be still wrestling.
Take them out." Yeah, they're like,
Each other.
"Oh, what? Our parents."
No, they'd run under the bed.
What's
Yeah,
your
they
bedside
would hide.
protection tool?
Bedside weapon, bat.
But come on, explain the bat.
It is a little league girls softball metal bat.
There's nothing wrong with
It's
that.
pink,
Pink.
and it says "Girls Rule" on it.
Oh, yeah,
it's hilarious.
totally. Awesome.
But also, how stupid are you gonna be when you break into my house and you get the shit kicked out of you with "Girls Rule"?
Girls rule.
I think it
If
was my
you wake
sister's
up-
old softball bat.
If you
Okay.
wake up.
That's my thing.
If you wake up.
I
What's
am
that?
notorious for sleeping through anything.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Earthquakes, full on thunderstorm, lightning storm. I've had
Kara's insinuating that I am too.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. I had a girl when we were on a bachelorette party, and her and I were going to go do the coffee run in the morning. And I woke up and she came back. I go, Morgan, why didn't you wake me up? She goes, Annie, I was physically shaking you. She goes, I was shaking
I was
you,
doing
and you did not
CPR
wake
on
up.
you. Oh my God.
She goes, I was actually kind of worried.
impressions.
And she finally was like,
Hello?
and then I just left. And I was like, that's
Annie.
wild.
Okay,
I go, that is
Tara,
scary.
I'm not that heavy of a sleeper.
I literally
I'm
the
not.
one
I'm just
time
not.
where something absolutely crazy happened on our street. I literally had to get up, look outside. These women were yelling at each other 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, that was
Fast
Love.
asleep. I had to shove him, wake him up. He was like, "What?" And I was like, "Do you not hear what's going on?" He's like, "Nah."
What happened? What
I'm
was
a heavy
it?
sleeper.
What
I mean,
was- what
there
was
was
the
some
Get to the
drama.
bottom.
It was
a
two,
drunk
it was
girl got
two
out of an Uber.
besties. No, it was
Yeah,
two
whatever it
besties, and
was.
the super drunk one kept trying to get the other one to keep going out to bars, and it was already past 2 a.m.
And they were,
So,
like,
all the bars were
verbally,
broken.
like,
so then
like,
the drunk
fighting.
girl stole the other girl's purse and ran down the street,
Oh, nice.
and she was going
Classic
into people's
OB.
yards.
I think she ended up putting throwing her iPhone in a trash can or something.
Yeah, because then the next day the woman came and was like, "My phone is tracking. It's saying it's tracking to your house." So we were like, "Go to the alley."
The point is, I've never missed a home invasion
Never.
So
Yeah.
far.
Never.
Have
So
you ever
far
had
that
a
we
home
know
invasion?
of yet. No.
Should we start testing each other in that realm?
Do
or-
you guys remember that TV show?
What would you
There
do?
was a TV show. I don't know if that's the name of it. Maybe it was a
I
TV
don't
show
know if
where
that's
they
the
would
name of it.
hire former like burglars.
Yeah.
and they
Oh,
would,
no, this is a
and it was,
different show.
and it was like on TLC or whatever. And they would break in, like the mom or the dad would be in the like surveillance
Yeah.
van, and they would put hidden cameras up, and they would watch
Yes.
the person go and break into the house, and you would like. You're basically testing, and then they wouldn't tell anyone else in the family. So there would be like footage of like the daughter coming home, and someone's literally in the house, and she doesn't know.
That's horrible.
Horrible. And then the whole thing was like, you could protect yourself better with this alarm company. It was like a big,
No.
yeah, it was like a big
Yeah.
ad, but it was so, I loved it.
I think that's an easy way to get, your shit kicked in.
Okay,
right?
hold on.
Like,
There was a show in 2005 called "It Takes a Thief."
I mean, that
It
might
takes
be
a
it.
thief.
That might
It
be
takes
it.
a thief.
And they would steal stuff, and then they would do the value of all the stuff they stole.
Yeah,
Because they're
it
like,
looks
no, I
this
have my
one.
stuff in a safe. Like everything in my, like even if someone broke in, they couldn't get stuff, and they would literally get all the stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. It was a Discovery Channel show.
Discovery Channel. That explains it, because my mom also watched the Discovery Channel for the ghost shows.
It shows security flaws in your home by unleashing two uniquely qualified experts,
Cat
burglars,
burglars.
who provide expertise.
I do always wonder about like when people are internet celebrities,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
kind of like we are.
Yeah. Celebrities.
Internet celebrities.
You know.
I'll say people that put out personal information on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you always hear about these, not smaller, but like big YouTubers that get swatted.
Yes.
You ever heard of swatting,
Yes. Uh-huh.
Annie? People will, crazy people, I'm assuming,
Obviously.
or just people that want to troll, right? They will call in like a bomb threat to
Oh,
to
Jesus
your house.
Christ.
It's like, oh my gosh, there's a bomb. Somebody is going to blow up this building. It's Annie's house. And then the SWAT team, it's called getting swatted.
They have
It's
to
this-
like. It's an offense where the SWAT has to like.
They
no
have
knock,
to do it.
Go in.
They're like-
there is no like we're gonna knock on the door.
And so
like,
it's
they have to,
usually
go
like
hard.
I've seen it where people that are big streamers on Twitch or something will get swatted on live on air.
That's wild.
It's absolutely insane. It happened to David Dobrik a few times. Like,
Well, that's the people who like show their house a lot. I'm always surprised by.
Yeah.
Like Victoria Paris has had to like move 3 times because people keep finding her house. And I'm like, and that's someone who is like very openly like, I'm a female who lives alone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
put everything out.
True.
Well, what about like when Gabby Hanna had her kind of like mental episode
Yeah.
like a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
and a fan who was like quote unquote worried about her just like showed up to her house.
Yeah.
And she like invited him in, and then she
He
realized
pretended
that
he
he
didn't
was
know
like,
her. He said he didn't know who she was. Like,
yeah,
And she like let him in, and then she was like, "You know me." Yeah, she's crazy.
yeah.
That whole thing was tough.
She was like, "Get out," and he was like,
And now she's like a yoga instructor in like some
Yeah.
small town now. She like
honestly
moved away
good,
and
good for her.
what's her address?
I don't know.
You know,
You know what I mean? Like, it's how far do you take your, because when you're saying I have this fan base and I'm like being completely vulnerable basically on the internet, you don't know who's gonna, even somebody that's not following you, that's not a fan, could come along and go like, oh, I'm edgy and I'm gonna pull this pranked ya, send a SWAT team to your house, like report you for murder.
I do think it's a lot harder to swat people now because I think police departments are getting a little more like savvy about that stuff now. But you know,
Some guy literally on TikTok
Should we try
posted
it?
that he got swatted
Yeah.
really.
from his car. Do you see
Yes.
that one?
I think that's what I was kind of referring to.
When he had the dog
He's like a
in his
streamer.
lap?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was absolutely crazy. He literally
See-
he was alive
Yeah.
on TikTok or whatever.
And somebody reported like from his vehicle.
And someone reported it, and then suddenly he's like in the window, us watching it, see like the cops and stuff, and he's like, and they're like, "What do you have on you?" And he's like, "It's my dog."
Yeah.
He used to lift up his dog and show them, and
Oh man.
And you don't know like how you're going to react in that scenario. Like you could get killed doing, you know, people
Yeah.
could get killed doing something like
he
that.
literally
Artie-
looked at his live and went, "Are you
Artie would
kidding
be
me,
in
guys?"
trouble if we.
Oh,
ever got
Artie would be
swatted.
done. Artie would.
He hates people with hats or masks. It would.
Yeah,
be.
the SWAT team.
He hates people with
enemies
hats.
of Arthur.
I mean, who's the number one wearer of hats? Police officers.
Police officers. They
Well, I'm saying
always
like
have
the
hats
gear
on.
would freak him out. You know, like if they came in stumping it like that, he'd probably try to go.
Have you
after
ever
him, and
guys?
they'd
Have you
have
guys
to
ever seen
move.
like a genuine SWAT raid?
No.
Never seen it. Breaking Bad.
My dad has. On our neighbor the SWAT team got called on our neighbor.
Whoa.
Oh, it's wild. This was when we lived in Alpine. T. And
Hey, Tone.
she was sleeping with the gardener,
Oh no.
Nice.
her gardener. And so she was on vacation with her boyfriend, her ex, like her fancy
Former
attorney
gardener,
boyfriend.
current boyfriend.
And she let her gardener
Oh.
stay in her
Former
house
gardener.
while she was gone.
Oh.
Well, it turns out that he and his friend were robbing houses in like La Jolla and like beating
Got
up
him.
the maids and tying them up and like
Oh
stealing
my
all this stuff.
gosh.
And the gardener also had a girlfriend, and they had tracked him back to my neighbor's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I guys, crazy. It was my house, our next door neighbor who was a police officer, and then this other neighbor. So one day I walk up to go to school, and there's a cardboard sign that says "drugs sold at" with my neighbor's address. So I take it off of the pole. Drugs in my Alpine community? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And then
Who's
when I
gonna tell
get
her?
back from school, I went to my next door neighbor who's a cop.
Yeah.
And I like gave him the sign. I was
You
like, look
narcs.
it. I found this. What I did not know is he had just warned his wife that the SWAT team was coming. He'd gotten like a tip off that the SWAT team was coming because they had been asking the neighborhood of like, when are all the kids gone? We want to come,
Whoa.
but like in case something goes down, we want to make sure that like the kids in the neighborhood for the most part aren't
Line 'em
there.
up.
And so then like, so she had just gotten this information, and then here I come with the sign that says drugs sold at the same address.
Oh my gosh.
And,
You're like, "What's
and
this
it
about?"
Turns out it was the gardener's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Found out that he was sleeping with my neighbor and tried to get him caught, but knew she couldn't turn him in without getting turned in herself because
So
she was
she
like accomplice.
posted the
So
drugs at this address.
She taped
That's
it up there trying to
crazy.
get him
Drugs
caught,
at is
and they
pretty
used
hilarious.
that to help convict her as an accomplice. She knew, so I
Wow.
helped the evidence. But then my dad was sitting at home, and all of a sudden he's heard, "This is the San Diego SWAT team. Come out with your hands up. Come out with your hands up." And my neighbor had gotten back that morning from her vacation with her attorney boyfriend, and then so like. My dad said he just like went up to our bedrooms because my sister and our bedrooms were on the second story, and like looked. Was like watching the
Watching the
SWAT
whole thing
team
go down.
raid my neighbor's house and like pulled her out and had her sitting on the sidewalk, and she's crying and she's like, I don't know what happened. Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing here. And as they're like pulling out all these guns and all this stuff that he was hiding in her house that she didn't know about because she had been gone on vacation, just got back.
No.
And then she had to call her attorney boyfriend to come bail her out of the situation.
She was framed. She was framed.
And then shortly after that, she sold her house.
I would have too.
Yeah, what
Soiled it.
I remember her
So
like
lit.
talking to my dad and I about being, she was like, I'm just so embarrassed. And my dad's like, yeah.
Shouldn't have been boinking the gardener.
just shouldn't let your fugitive gardener be staying in your house.
Is it bad? I kind of want to root for the Robin Hood of Alpine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Robbing
no.
houses, tying up maids.
Yeah, well, I think
wanna
that
read
he
this?
was like,
He was
I
probably
think they
given
were,
to
like,
the poor, right?
beating
The tying up maids is the wrong
think
part.
they
I was gonna, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The
I feel
part
like
that
we're
you should have
also
left
missing
off
the
was
point where
that.
they were like brutally beating up the maid.
Kind of
Yes.
punching down at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Just
kinda
loot.
like,
Just loot and bye bye.
Well, I
or
mean,
like it slide
what's
a
a maid
20
gonna
to the
do?
maid. Like,
Yeah.
Call
she's
it-
gonna
Slide
talk.
it. Slide
Well,
it.
call the
2,000
police.
to the
Go
maid.
ahead. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be out of here. by
I'd be
then.
like, if now see, here's how he went wrong. If the maid walks in and I'm looting the place, just cut her in.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Really, you think
Uh-huh.
maid's gonna be like, it was this guy, the gardener. Come on.
Yeah.
She's not gonna say that.
Speaking of loot,
it's
been pretty good couple of weekends for Deadpool 3.
Oh, I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
You do have to see it. It's pretty crazy. I am bringing it up because it is now the highest grossing R-rated movie
My gosh.
in North America of all time.
what a sad stat. What the heck?
Do you know what it dethroned?
what?
Any guesses?
It.
Highest grossing R-rated movie of all time.
It
It.
I don't know.
No.
of all time.
It's kind of a weird one, but once you hear it, you'll be like, oh yeah, of course. This was
the interview.
This was a global
Hangover.
phenomenon.
Our
The
On the right
Hangover. My
track?
final question. My final answer.
Not on the right track at all.
Oh.
Damn it. Is it
I'd say it's more drama leaning than it is comedy.
50
Silver
Shades of
Linings
Grey?
Playbook?
No.
Is 50 Shades of Grey R?
Yes,
It is.
yeah, I'm sure it is.
They do a lot of sexy stuff in it.
Yeah.
The
I had no
Passion of the Christ
Oh.
was the number one R-rated movie. Mel Gibson's
Never seen it.
venture. Yeah.
Okay, guess
Us
you
Christian
don't love
schoolers.
God.
No, the Catholics didn't make them watch it. The Christians, we watched that at like sleepaway camp.
Yeah, we did. They played it on Sunday one time at church for us.
So
Jeez.
gnarly. But now it's Deadpool 3, so
Okay.
that's cool. Take that, God.
Jack.
And they made Jesus references
Okay. He takes that back.
in.
He did. He was. He does call himself Marvel Jesus in that
Yeah.
movie.
That is crazy.
Pretty good. Spoilers ahead. No, actually, you guys haven't seen it, so I'll just keep my mouth shut about it. Go
And
see
you probably
Deadpool
won't
3.
see it. I definitely do want
Really,
to see
Stubby? Come on, Stubby.
I
You're
want
not
to see
gonna-
it.
No, he
I
said Annie probably
Oh.
won't see it. And
I
that's
thought you said,
see it.
and I probably won't see it.
No, I'm going to see it for sure.
Well, what we've all seen
think early
lately
mornings.
is
Paddington 3 coming out. Paddington in Peru. Official trailer dropped today.
Olympics.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Olympics update.
I feel I'm gonna give you the transition, but you did transition away from my thing pretty quickly.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We already
Go ahead.
talked about your thing. Deadpool 3 won.
Mom and Dad are
Gobble,
fighting,
gobble,
Annie.
gobble, your mother. Olympics. Lots of things have happened.
Yeah, we're still in Olympics mode over here at
We have.
What
we
podcast?
have
We got to put the Olympics music on.
Yeah, it
on
should
there.
probably
Send
be.
me
We
that
have-
YouTube link if you could.
Wienergate.
Oh, that's crazy.
We
You guys
have-
showed me that
we
last night.
have
That was crazy.
Triathlon in the Seine.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
That is rough.
We have.
I hate Wienergate.
Let's start
I
with
can't tell you.
Wienergate.
I literally
Okay,
can't tell you how much I hate it.
Wienergate. A poor man from France.
From
Poor.
France.
It sounds like he had a pretty big package.
Well endowed man.
He's well endowed for sure.
He was pole vaulting, and well, he got over great until his ding-along got caught.
Ding along is
Not
right.
ding along.
Ding-along.
Pole vaulter Anthony Amarati, his own penis denies him an Olympic medal. Yep, he just clipped
Poor
the
guy.
end of it right there on the
I wouldn't say
crossbar.
he clipped it. I would say he.
I think he clipped it pretty
wrapped
hard.
around
okay,
it.
Kara, God, calm down.
It was rough.
Jeez, slow down.
This poor guy.
So arguably best pole vaulter couldn't win it because of
Really?
his pole.
Yeah.
Wienergate. Is
Wienergate.
that really that crazy, you think? Or
I
you
mean,
can't be the first to
It
have
was
that- have
pretty
that happen.
crazy.
it can't be right. It can't be the first.
Like you're pole vaulting. Wouldn't you think that everything on your body needs to be flat?
I honestly,
What do you want him to do? Tuck or
I
something?
honestly
or-
hadn't even considered
He did
it.
not have any underwear on. You could tell.
You want to be
Nothing.
loose, Kara. You want to be loose.
No.
He's one of the best athletes in the world.
It's
Well-
making news because it's not like it's something that happens all the time. Like it was just this, newsworthy moment.
So that happened.
Let's
Then-
check. I'm going to check our medal standings.
The
at the moment.
triathlon in the Seine. There was a man who, the second he finished, threw up like 3 times
So gross.
and started throwing up blood. There was one girl who did an interview saying that she felt things and saw things
gross.
in that water that she can never talk about
No way.
because it was so jarring.
So drama.
so
What does that
crazy.
mean?
No, but like dead bodies probably. For
Womp
sure,
womp.
dead
The
bodies.
felt things sounds like
I feel like everybody in the
awful.
Olympics is just trying to
like
get,
what is in there?
No, that what's insane is they had the like opening ceremonies, right? With they swam in the sun. And then they like tested it and they're like, yeah, this is not safe to swim in.
Oh, the levels of bacteria, they had to cancel their like the practice swim.
So I'm like, why did we then continue to let them swim in it?
So what are we talking? Bunch of dead bodies, bunch of dead fish.
I don't know.
100%,
Poop.
bunch of dead bodies, bunch of dead
I don't
fish.
know.
As of today's recording, which is what's today, the 6th, August 6th,
Heyo.
at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Heyo.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Expose ourselves. The United States holds the most medals this Olympics: 23 gold, 31 silver, 30 bronze, and 84
That
total.
is awesome, you guys. USA.
Next one up, China.
USA.
Yeah, let's take our moment. We're amazing. We are great. I saw somebody make a observation that was like, America always does really well in the Olympics because of the fact that it's a melting pot. So we have people from all over the world living in America. It's
Also
not just
because
like
we have the most money to send people over, and we have
no, but hear me
someone
out. But hear me
competing
out.
in every single sport.
America is made up of a bunch of people coming to this country, immigrants, right? So it's not just like a bunch of Chinese people from China or a bunch of, French people from France. It's like all different, kinds of people. There's like people from Africa that come to compete for America. There's like people from different countries.
They move here
And
to
so
train.
America's kind of like this grab bag of cultures and of skills and of everything. And like, that's kind of why we do so well. Unfortunately, China, not too far behind. 22 gold, 20 silver, and 16 bronze for a total of 58. So we are, about 30 medals ahead of the next runner-up. A couple of countries got their first Olympic medal of all time.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Um,
that's so exciting.
Yep. I heard that it was Tahiti got its first medal.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of emotional because they played their national anthem for the first time at the Olympics. Everyone was crying. They're like, "This is it. We did it. Like they won."
Yeah.
Pretty for Tahiti and was the other in Guatemala? I think it was.
Yeah, I watched
I
one
don't
in
know.
real time. I watched, it was like, I think it was the 100-meter dash.
I know that one of them was an African country.
The women's 100-meter dash, and she, like,
Maybe we've got
one
that
of the
wrong.
U.S. Athletes actually set the world record the day before. They were like expecting her to win, and then they did it. And I can't remember what was it called. It's not South Africa. But there was a country that won for the first time, and then U.S. came in second and third, and it was like a big deal. It was super cool.
The men's
Awesome.
100-meter run, it was a U.S. guy. I don't remember what his name was. It was the first time the U.S. has won in 20
St.
years.
Lucia. That's what I
St.
saw.
St.
Lucia,
Lucia.
not
I
Tahiti.
watched
That's
that
what it was.
live and like real time. We were at my brother's house and I watched it. It was
Awesome.
like so cool. She got to ring the bell and like they were so stoked and I think it's awesome.
Should we talk about the boxing situation? I think it bears
What
talking
happened?
about.
Yes.
So there's a lot of controversy right now, Annie. Let me
I'll pull it up.
pull it up.
Okay, well, what's it
I want to
about?
say the right name. This boxer from Algeria, Imani Khalif, is
Baller
under
name.
fire. Now, a little backstory. She's been in the Olympics for a long time. She's competed like several Olympics in the past. And she went up against an Italian boxer who apparently was saying that she bailed out like 45 seconds into the fight. She had to quit and said that she was in fear for her life because of how hard she was getting punched. Now, crazy, right?
It's boxing, so
I didn't
Apparently,
realize boxing was in the Olympics.
yeah, boxing in the Olympics, fighting, punchy.
punchy.
She is now, Imani is catching flack because people are claiming that she is a trans woman and that she, and of course now this is the big, we can't handle that over here at Fox News and in America, that the trans people are invading sports and they're ruining sports. Turns out not a trans woman, just a woman, regular old woman. She was, however, tested for high testosterone levels.
She
She's
has
doing roids.
No.
She wasn't doing roids.
She was born this way. She has so much testosterone that her chromosomes test as XY.
whoa.
But she is a woman.
Born a woman, declared a woman. It says female on her passport. All of these things, and people are like,
Her dad literally came out and was like, she is just a powerful
and she's
girl.
fully getting got by these people that can't understand that
Yeah.
this woman could beat the crap out of most men probably.
Even sadder,
Yeah.
they interviewed her and she was like, the reason I got into boxing, she's like, is because as a kid, I had like male-ish features, and she's like, and people would bully me for that, and she's like, I had to defend myself against boys who like were saying I was a man, and like that's how she got into the sport, is because of her masculine physique as a woman. And she's like now even at the highest level they're questioning. And also, what country is she from again? Algeria. She was in some of the championships in Algeria, and Algeria just DQ'd her from the league because they're like, we don't care if you can prove that you're a woman. We think you're a trans woman. We're not even going to let you play in the sport.
And now, because it came out so fast,
she went on to,
because the Italian girl literally afterwards was crying and saying like, it's not fair, blah blah, all this stuff. So now all of these news outlets who are like, this woman is a man, like blah blah, they're all coming out and apologizing now, including that Italian boxer, saying like, I apologize for how I acted.
It's just crazy to me.
It's crazy too because I was listening to an interview too, and she was saying like, in Algeria, in the town that she grew up in, there was no like boxing gyms, and so she's like, her parents and her would work like extra jobs on the weekends to save money to drive to a separate town to go to a boxing gym to like be able to be a boxer and like be in competitions, and they invested like so much in her, in her ability to do the sport well. And then even like I said, at this highest level, they're basically claiming that she's not a woman, which is it's
a non-problem. You know what I mean? Like, aren't we over this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is nothing officially did change. Like she wasn't DQ'd from the Olympics or anything, but it brings up a really good subject of like, we're at the world level, and in other countries, talk about transgender, communities in other countries, they're like being severely persecuted, and that's a conversation.
That was kind of part of the thing too, was like apparently in Algeria, like you're not even allowed to identify as trans or something.
It's illegal in most countries.
But I don't know what that means, is if she would identify as trans, if she could, but she's like, no, I'm a woman. And I saw this tweet that was like, the same people that are mad about this are the ones that are like out to ban gender studies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
you don't know what you're talking about.
Hormone imbalance is something that is so
common.
It's so, that's like a huge part of PCOS, which is a condition I have, in which like you can have high testosterone. Like there's women with PCOS that grow facial hair because their testosterone is so high. And it's literally just like a matter of your biology being off. Like, and if she's just always had this hormone imbalance, like like the fact that she's never had a doctor that can be like, hey, like we could throw this, like we could like, get it back to a normal level.
Probably because it's illegal over there.
Yeah. Well, but the whole thing is, it's not like, it shouldn't be illegal if she's a woman. Like
the point is, I feel like
she used it for her advantage though.
Oh, absolutely. Whether or not she has like a higher level of testosterone, obviously, is like, she's ripped. She could kick my ass. 100%.
Normal levels of testosterone and all. She could kick your ass. Yeah.
I feel lots of women could kick my ass, but that's not the point. The point
I'm glad you feel that too.
Is that no one should think that they have the ability to tell you what you are, like what you identify as, what you are, and I'm seeing a big, this is a whole other conversation, but Donald Trump hops on the stand and is telling, reporters that Kamala Harris is conveniently black now, right? She's like, because it works for her demographic. She's all of a sudden, she was Indian all these years, and now all of a sudden she's black. And it's like, it's just this weird world we're living in where people think that they can like dominate you and what you think, what you identify as. You're like, I've always been a woman, and I'm competing in women's sports, and I'm representing my country. And people can come along and go, oh, you're actually not fitting in this box that I think that you fit in. So I'm going to, you're probably a trans woman. And that's what's wrong with this world that we live in. It's like, come on. What are we doing here?
Haters gonna hate.
They do be doing that, right?
Haters gonna hate.
Well, let's not end on such a low. Let's end on a little bit of a buffalo here. What do you think, John?
I love the song of the summer.
Song of the summer never gets old.
It never gets old.
What the podcast? Summer 2024.
Hey, by the way, I meant to send this to you guys. The bleep actually bleeps your mic out. Like in the yeah, it actually bleeps it out.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Literally, it actually does.
I mean, you have to time it just right.
Yeah.
But
It's in our post show. When I was making it, I was like, it actually bleeps it out. Like you can't hear it at all.
that's pretty funny.
Ready, Ryan? Ready, set, go.
We want to
Nope,
thank
didn't get it.
our Patreon subscribers for your continued support of this show.
that was so sweet.
Guys, we couldn't do it without
That
you.
was so sweet.
Keeps the lights on. Keeps the
lights
old
on.
subscriptions paid.
And mark your calendars, guys.
Oh, is this the first announcement?
September 27th to the
Coming
28th.
to you September
27th through the 28th.
27th through the 28th.
Yes.
We've got our 25-hour podcast live stream for Alzheimer's.
Whoop, whoop.
Can't wait.
We
It's gonna be
are going to blast our goal away once more, raising money for a good cause. You're going to hear more about that pretty soon. We should probably record some stingers
awesome. Yeah, we
today.
probably should.
Yeah.
Probably should.
But from all of us here with the podcast, Jordan Albright on the scene.
And Artie!
It's Arthur the podcast dog.
Cutting through
Hey,
all the
Jordan.
angles.
With a new bandana.
And there's Jordan's butt
What do you mean
on
it's
every
not on the
angle.
calendar?
You do have a new banana.
That's embarrassing.
Buddy.
We'll probably figure that out.
We'll figure that out later.
We'll just wrap it up here.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you, Patreon. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the end of the episode. And on the couch, as always, Kara Tafoya,
And Artie.
Artie Albright, Annie the Scoveman. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on What the Podcast.
Arthur, you have anything to say?
Hi, Artie.
Oh, it's on mic down there.
Hi, buddies.
Doesn't matter.
My shoe.
Hey.
Come back.
Hi, buddy.
Come here.
I love this guy.